getting better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, just the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Ran off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. I got his.
What is up, and happy freaking New Year. It's 2024. Cannot believe it. And as you join us, you may see a unfamiliar face, but a very friendly face. That is Adam from Otherdex. Adam, how are you this fine Wednesday, the first Wednesday of 2024?
Good, man. Happy New Year.
Heck yeah, dude. Happy freaking New Year. I see that Other Space merch. We're rocking with that. We love, shout out to the Other Space fam. Man, Baron and Nana always cooking up some amazing things. And of course, their merch just looked chef's kiss, amazing. I love the fit. We're going to get through some of Otherdex. And if you haven't checked out Otherdex, today is your day to really explore one of our favorite tools here on Board TV. We like to go there to check out, obviously, the floors across marketplaces, as well as their interactive map. It's amazing. And Adam and the team has had some things cooking up over the last week and even 24 hours. So I'm excited to dive into that. If you haven't yet, make sure you share this space. If you're on X, if you're on Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you are, we appreciate you that you're here, that you came to this fine show every single Wednesday. We love to talk all things Yuga Labs, and we're going to jump into it right away. Adam and I were talking just before we went live because we had an update directly from Mr. Ian from the Yuga Labs team. And we're going to go ahead and share this here. So this is coming from our good friend Vicky. She had a post basically that, obviously some disappointment with comms, and that's been kind of a common theme that, we want more from the team, Yuga Labs as a whole, etc. And here's Ian's response. And basically, obviously, it is the holiday season. That's the one thing that came to mind for me, especially because I know as a teacher, a little bit different, but I definitely have to get away for a moment or two just to regain my collective sanity, I think. So he says, BAYC had our holiday tweet on December 22nd, had a few more moments planned before New Year, but decided to pause on them because the entire team wanted to make sure we got those moments right. I don't think anybody reading this would be surprised to hear that Yuga is making a focused effort to post things with purpose, and we are ready to. We're almost ready. And again, this is something that they've been talking about, that there is going to be a change. So we are 100% excited to see that change. And I do believe that we're going to see that here in 2024. All of Yuga, but in this case, the comms team regularly work 10 to 12-hour days through holidays, birthday parties, etc., to work on and deliver things for the community that we want to be proud of and you all to be excited about. I always tell people that if you don't fucking love and believe in Yuga, you shouldn't work here, which I like that sentiment because I would agree. Luckily, everyone who works here loves Yuga and the communities and people who we have gotten to connect with through it. So it was important to me to make sure that the comms team took the time over the holidays to take a break, spend time with loved ones, and reset before 2024. Obviously, Yuga delivered a ton of shit in 2023, which is true, by the way. I think sometimes people forget how much shit they did. If we actually go ahead and do a recap of all the things that Yuga Labs did in 2023, there actually was quite a bit, and we will continue to do so in 2024. If you're upset, he says, blame him. But I stand by giving the team who live and breathe Yuga 24/7, 365 days a year, a very well-earned rest. And then he has Wonderwall, a video to Wonderwall. So Wonderwall, that's a way to Phil's heart, because as a Delta Sigma Phi at Millikan University, that was our freaking fraternity song. So man, Ian, you didn't even know it, but you hit me right in the heart there. What is your thought there, Adam? I know obviously we kind of joke about it. It's a meme. It's like when, and as someone like yourself that's building, obviously you're building an amazing, tool and website with Otherdex. What is your sentiment on, I guess communication, delivery of when that happens, holiday season, et cetera, kind of rolled up into one? What is your sentiment on comms? We've talked about it here that we're looking for more from Yuga as in board, and I think everybody isn't, and I think they are too. Their expectation for themselves is that it's going to rise. And so what would be your takeaway here from Ian's response that, this was just one of those times where it felt like it was time to hit a reset and be ready to really run, because there are some new things that are happening in 2024.
Yeah, I mean, It's my first time reading this, but I mean, there's a few takeaways. One, it's like, it's the holidays, right? Like,
Yeah,
working full time, working through the holidays, you still, um, everyone still kind of has to reset a little bit. So I understand that. Um, but overall, like, I think they're going through a transition with comms, right? Like with, just from NGB over to someone like, I don't know. I felt like when he was around, there was someone that was just like always present, like
yeah,
throughout the day, 24/7. There was some presence on Yuga's behalf,
for sure.
interacting with the Yuga community, but then, also through just the Web3, just the Twitter space. Um, I do realize it's not like there so much, but I don't know. I feel like there's so much going on in the Web3 space that I think people are getting a little too uptight about, not much. We know Yuga's cooking. There's also so many different things to communicate about that it could almost be like it's just managing expectations at that point.
Yep.
Like what do we do around this time? It's almost better if we just stay, not be so aggressive on social with communication. I know it's super important, not necessarily my strong suit, but I'll have to read this a little more in depth and see if
Yeah.
there's anything else to take away.
And I think we'll see some response obviously from community members too. And that's one thing that I've seen and we've seen. I know you've seen it as well across the timeline and group DMs is just like overall sentiment. Anthony, I see you there. Definitely I hear you. Heavy metal delayed, other side delayed, marketplace delayed, no comms. I would agree with that for sure. Especially it would be nice, 100% very nice for some clarity on other side because obviously there's been some major changes there and we really haven't heard any official comms, which is tough.
Yeah.
The marketplace, yeah, for sure. They said at the end of 2023. And then I feel like somebody from Magic Eden actually had said that it was going to end up being early Q1 2024. Now, I don't know, what official comms that came from, but I feel like I read that from, it might have just been a tweet or something or post, whatever you
I
call it.
remember that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Anthony, I saw your post earlier as well that he said taking hits from my build team because expectations of having this ever present other side here at the end of 2023. And Adam, I'd love to hear your takeaway there too, because obviously you and the team are so tied in and linked with other side and all the dope shit that you're building out for it. What is your thoughts on where the hell is other side and where are we headed?
Yeah, so we kind of committed to building Otherdex almost a year ago now, right?
Right.
And with the expectation that within a calendar year there'd be activations, and it just hasn't happened, right? So it's a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing for us because it gives us more time
Sure.
to build and react to other things going on. Like Legends of Mara and building tools for that. If other side were out and we could be on a different path right now.
Yeah.
So blessing side, curse side as a holder, right? Like, yeah, I own tons of Ds. I own a couple Codas. If I wasn't building other decks, I would probably be running out of patience.
Mm-hmm.
On the business side of other decks, we can't just keep going forever.
Right.
But so it's just finding the balance and just being like, let's just do what we can with what we have and trust that Yuga is building. It's going to be great, and just keep trying to stay optimistic, right?
No, for sure. I think that's great. And I'll even say just from our perspective at Board TV, even for us, this is a passion project, but we do want it to transition more to like a real serious business. Like we love, we love doing this show. We've had, I think, some good success, and it's really just the beginning. I know we've been going for a year and a half, but we have, higher expectations for what we want to do. And even for us, like we thought we'd be like exploring other side and like interviewing Adam on his fucking deed, on Board TV, and we'd have our avatars, and that hasn't come to fruition yet. I still do believe, I really on it truly, like I'm not bullshitting. I would say if I didn't, I believe in Yuga Labs. I'm with Anthony and everybody else that's saying comms have been shit. I think Yuga would also agree that they've been a little rough, and I think they're going to get their cadence. I have very high expectations. So if they disappoint here in 2024, I think that would be really bad news bears with comms specifically. because it does need to be more clear. There does need to be a cadence as well where you feel like you know what's coming, because they kind of did that actually in the spring. When we had Dookie Dash and we had the Forge, we were getting some like, nice cadence, and it wasn't like you're getting dropped a million pieces of information. But even if it's just a fun graphic, or maybe it's the gaming updates, that was nice when they do those, when they push those updates. I like that. Like, that's a very simple comms thing that if they do some corrections, whatever it may be, then we're able to see that. So I'm curious. I'll say that I'm still very positive on everything. I do agree. Even for us as content creators, like Justin, like one of the homies, right? Freaking Sean and Baron, like all of us, like we want to be exploring Otherside. Like I can promise you, we all have been wanting to do this forever. And so even from a content creator perspective, like we want to have fun in there too. We have all these ideas and plans and builds that we want to do as well as content creators. And so, yeah, Anthony, I see that. When ODK for real, like, I don't know.
In these comments.
Yeah, and they come through on my end because I'm like,
let me
I'm producing and of course hosting, but
okay, cool.
And
now
then
I see.
Sean, we see that quote. Also, an awesome update from X. Oh, look at that's the Brothers Grimm.
GM.
What's up, my guy?
Hey.
A little bit late, but we're here.
No, you're good. Appreciate you, brother. We're doing good. We're just talking about comms and, of course, some of the updates that we're hoping, and the other side being pushback and, just sentiment being a little bit down. But I wanted to tell everybody, if you use StreamYard, and this is a plug for StreamYard, if you're listening, we would take a sponsorship. StreamYard, tip of the cap. I can see right here our boy Sean Nana with a comment directly from X, because now it is integrated where we can actually share from Twitter or X, which is freaking dope. So shout out to StreamYard. We love to freaking see it. Yes, Justin. Yes, content creator. We love to see the X comments. That's dope. We freaking agree. So Bryce, I guess to quickly catch you up to speed, we just went over, Ian had that tweet. I don't even know if you saw it yet, but we just read through it. And obviously the response to Vicky. What is your takeaway from people's frustration on the timeline with comms, and then Ian's response? What's your just quick takeaway?
Overall consensus, people are a little soft. Like, who cares, right? It's the holidays. Everybody's busy. People have things that are important to them, right? Like, not everything's all about work and Yuga Labs, right? Mm-hmm. Even the employees there need to take a break at some point and enjoy time with family and touching grass. So, yeah, that's kind of my overall consensus. I liked Ian's tweet, though.
No, I thought it was great. I was telling Adam and all the listeners that Wonderwall is a song to my heart, because that was my fraternity song back Delta Sigma Phi at Millikan University in Decatur, Illinois. No, yeah, I would agree that sometimes we need to just touch a little bit of grass. Of course, we can be frustrated. Like, I'm not saying you shouldn't be. Mm-hmm. We have been too. We've talked about that here on the show. We've talked about it in DMs as our trio. Like, we want the comms to be better too. But at the end of the day, it is the holidays. Like, hey, let's be fair. We didn't go live last Wednesday because the holidays. We didn't push out our Monday update because say it with me, holidays. Yeah. So again, like, some of us have changed what we do. Granted, we're not multi-billion business yet, but the fact of the matter remains. Sometimes we do need to step away from our work, recharge, re-energize, and then push really freaking hard, because I really do believe that we're going to see a new attack from Yuga Labs here in 2024. So,
it's much needed. Much
agreed.
Needed. I think we've all seen over the last few months, it seems like everything but Yuga has pumped at some point or another. Granted, Codas have pumped a good bit, but it's way easier to complain about a project when everything else is going up and your project isn't. So.
And there's so many different aspects. Like, so what if there were more comms related to this and not that? It's like, you can't make everyone happy in the ecosystem. It's not just one user type anymore, right? It's like, you got the heavy metal, you got the made by apes, you have just the broader board apes, other side, so you guys got to manage all of this. I think, branching out the different socials now, like how they have the Yuga Gaming, that was a step forward.
Agreed.
I agree with Bright.
Yeah.
Well, and at the end of the day, if they were to give us all the information now, A, it would be a lot to digest. B, prices would go crazy up or down, right? I'm sure you'd have plenty of people that are like, well, just forget this, I'm out. Mm-hmm. So, Yuga kind of needs us to speculation trade, but at the same time, they need to release some cool things to, actually give people something to speculate about.
I do truly believe that, like, again, to be fair, the change, the very abrupt change of comms team there right during Ape Fest, like that's a lot to handle as well. You have this massive event for the year. You're in Hong Kong. This all comes to fruition. And now, you're trying to hire literally that position. I'll give them some grace for that, because that's a lot to handle even within, 30 days, whatever it was, 45 days until here at the beginning of the year. So I'm going to give them some grace. I do believe it's going to be better. I agree with Adam and Bryce. The Yuga Labs gaming addition to X was like great. That's awesome. I think that was needed. And I think you will see, you'll see much more specific, maybe not detailed, but specific comms for each of these individual, communities, because there are a lot. Just like BAYC and MIYC holders and Otherside builders or want to be builders and heavy metals and MeBits and 10KTF. There's a shit ton when you really think about CryptoPunks. And I think you're actually going to really see this cadence where it's not going to be every goddamn thing. Oh, we farted. Here we go. Here's another tweet. But you will see this cadence, I think, where maybe it's not weekly, but it's much more frequent. And what Ian said there, I think, is important, where it's like, these will be things that are actually like pertinent. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just like the random fucking retweet where you're like, wait, should I read into this? We're all putting our tinfoil hat on and we're seeing all these retweets like, oh shit, are they about to buy this project or whatever it may be? So definitely interested on that. Anthony, take this for what it's worth. This is not anything set in stone, but I heard through another source that that's going to be a month or a month and a half before that comes out. So we'll see.
Didn't they say there was going to be a beta? Like, something?
Yeah, again, we thought it was going to be here at the end of 2023.
What they told us at Ape Fest was that it would be shipped before 2024.
So that is interesting. It's one of those, like, who knows, obviously. So yeah, Anthony, I agree. I had the sentiment basically was that there's just more that they had to get done before they were ready to push it, which, hey, to be fair, I'd much rather have that shit all ready to rock, even if it's the first version, than have it all just broken when they push it out. So I'm excited. Believe me, Anthony, and everyone else out there, I cannot wait just to see what they do. I'm not saying it's going to like freaking, reinvent the wheel, but I am excited to see what this marketplace is and how do they incentivize it. I posted a tweet from Board Media Group, our X account, yesterday, I think, just to see, like, what do you think would be, how would you incentivize people? And there were some really freaking cool responses and interesting, right? Like just interesting responses for all the things that have been happening in the space recently with like Pawns and the Frogs and Rhett Guy, like giving, parts of their company, whatever stock away, basically. What if they did that? Now, again, SEC, there's a lot more like this red tape. I'm not expecting that, but I loved hearing like the very wide variety of like ways to reward. And one of my favorites actually was like, and we've talked about this, is like these physical, like unique pieces that you would get or whatever. Maybe it's digital too, but like these things that you can receive if you traded on there. Maybe it's like this limited edition fucking hat, and it's a freaking, maybe it's a Curtis, not a plushie, the freaking statue thing or something, like more of these physical items that you can maybe earn from points that you rack up. Who knows? Like, I have no clue how they'll do it. I Godspeed, because I feel like it's a really freaking hard thing that they're attempting to do. But nonetheless, I am, and we are excited, obviously, to see what they push out.
I will say, if I have to trade on Magic Eden for a hat, I'll probably just stick with Blur. But
maybe that's like first version, though. You get like 5 points. Like, you got to imagine, there's like, think about going to the carnival, my guy.
I do think Yuga needs to bring back like the physical merch as like rewards for these games.
I agree.
Because that was so much fun, like still having the captain's hat and all the people that got Kara got the car. Like,
I agree.
Those prizes were way cool.
Dude, I agree completely. And I think we will see that. So, yes, fanny packs for all. We will fucking nest them and get their fanny packs, baby.
Take it straight to zero.
Straight to zero. Here we go. So without further ado, we are going to spend a good portion of today having Adam obviously walk us through. And if you haven't yet, you got to check out Otherdex.io. Obviously, the man, the myth, the legend, Adam and team have created this amazing website. It truly is an awesome tool that you can explore the collections. You can explore the map in ways that you never imagined. And so the first place I'm going to take us is actually just to this amazing and cool map. You can actually see our little banana peel here. Here's our HQ for Board Media Group. And it is an island, by the way, which is cool. Come on, baby. It's by itself. But as you can see, obviously you've got all these amazing, creators and tools that have all these different things. This was one of the first things I remember Adam, showing and asking about the logo that we wanted to put there. Hey, Justin, shout out to Justin's out here. I mean, Nash is here. We got everybody. And so talk to us, Adam, about what was your vision with this, and kind of, I would say this is maybe V1, and then some of the update that you did over the last few days here of taking it, I would say like a layer deeper and getting to know your neighbor.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So, and we met like pretty early on when we started building this, right? And, the map was really our focus. Just to bring the context that we're seeing, with these recent releases, it's like, the community headquarters are cool. This is where we can start to show it. It's kind of becoming a directory when you have this layer on, who's here, who's building in the space, kind of acts as a discovery tool, and then some, organizations will use this, to try to incentivize their community to buy and build around them, which would be cool over time to see, right? You have this kind of neighborhood, potential. So this is,
we saw that a lot with Sandbox.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, and a lot of this is kind of inspired by that in Sandbox. On the Sandbox map, you had this, context that was just missing on the Otherside map. When we were shopping other deeds, we didn't, on OpenSea, we didn't understand who people just weren't thinking about, we call it the geospatial position. Like, where is it on the map? What's it? You mentioned, a minute ago that you guys are on an island. Is it an island? Is it a coastal deed? Is it inland? The social components. Who is it next to? But also distances. Like, how far is it from a point of interest, like a chaos deed or a community headquarter, like we see here? And there's a lot, like, there's assumptions here, right? Like, does it matter? If we're just going, if when you enter Otherside, if you're just portal to portal to wherever you want to go, then it might not matter so much. But if you actually have to traverse to get from point A to point B, and if these chaos deeds act as portals, like there's some speculation they might, I've seen a speculation that, chaos deeds will, you don't want to be near one. Maybe it taxes, the deeds around it. Who knows, like it's kind of like there's like a component like that in Wolf Game, right? Like, so it's interesting. We don't know, but, the map was just fascinating from the very beginning. And just Sandbox, like, hey, Sandbox land, it mattered. At least it affected the pricing of the assets. Here, the sediment is really the only thing that, related to the location that matters, right? Of course, biogenic swamp towards the center, and then you work your way out. So, but overall, just the community, like, if you continue to zoom in and you start to see the avatars, this is kind of, it's exciting for me because it was like a vision, really early on to be able to zoom in and see who's around. And if you uncheck the listed up at the top, turn that off. And then can you zoom in a little further?
Sure.
We should see PFPs, right?
Yeah, now you'll see
there
PFPs
we go,
start to populate.
baby.
Well, I love that it's kind of a toggle on the same site. It's not like you have to go to a totally different site to view everybody, right? It's all just in one, which is
it's the Otherdeed browser. So you could actually open the filter. You could filter down whatever you wanted, and you could just switch back to card view or back to map view and just kind of have a seamless experience.
That's awesome.
Opening these up. So this is neat. I mean, it's cool.
We love this. This is freaking dope, dude. Because again, it's like, I remember talking to you early and it really was like, well, it would be cool if I knew that freaking Madonna is next to me, right? Or whoever, like, and again, you're thinking ahead, of course. And once we get Otherside, we'll get to see some more of this. But even Yuga Labs, like, oh shit, I'm next to, you know, 2-3 deeds of Yuga Labs that they own, oh man, they're gonna build some dope shit here. I'm right here. Like that could potentially matter. And so I love this integration so much. I know you were excited about this and being able to see, you know, again, just so easy to just see who it is. And you'll see so many familiar faces too. It makes it feel it actually feels like a fucking neighborhood. I know it sounds corny, but you're like, dude, these are the community members. I actually know these people, you know, like you feel like these are your friends, etc. So we definitely love that. We freaking love it.
That's why you got the rich neighbors on the Environment 5 and the poor neighbors on the Environment.
It's just an extra factor to think about when shopping for other deeds. It's like, hey, I could buy, here's my budget. There's already so many factors to consider, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about that forever. Do you want to be in a specific sediment? Are you going after different environment types? Are you trying to complete a checklist, kind of like we show on your overview page, like one of every sediment or one of every, environment type? Or now it's like, hey, let me buy a deed that's near a friend or near board media. You got
to swim to us, but you can get close, baby.
Yeah. And you can also, you can also switch to the environment toggle in the layer. So if you're on avatars now, you can just click environments.
That's cool, dude.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So now you can see, and it's accurate to the environment size.
Right.
So you
can clearly see,
because you can see the difference right here, here.
Like a T1, T5, and whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's fun. Just a new way to explore the map, and going back to like what you said earlier, like, what are we doing with this downtime? For us, it's cool to be building this.
Right.
And, we hope that the community, this kind of fulfills a little bit of that, for lack of better terms, boredom, right? Like this is just a new way to check out the map. And that's been the feedback we've been getting, right? Like, hey, this is fresh. This is cool. I like seeing who my neighbors are. It's just a new way to look at the map.
And it should be something that's, used down the line.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And you can do it on your phone when you're just, killing time. Shout out to, Sam and Joko. They're the developers that worked on this. It wasn't easy.
Right.
It still needs to be optimized, but we stuck to it. And, this is the first version of this feature, but we
freaking love it.
On top of this, y'all did what? The loot browser today?
We did the loot browser today. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a sweet update too.
So, if you navigate to the, just hit other deeds up in the top main menu. So you're in other deeds now, and then on our sub menu, right, you have all the different browsers, all the different traits, right? So we added loot to the end there. So you can come here now. Oh, you entered mobile. There you go. Yeah. So now, zooming too far. Now you can browse loot, right? And this is a little tricky, and for those watching, I'm sure the people that would care about this is that, there's two different types of loot. There's the deed bound loot that you earn from chests, and then there's wallet bound loot that is issued at the end of the season from placing on the leaderboard. So the wallet bound loot is data that's very hard to accurately display. So we're displaying only deed bound loot, right?
So that's pretty much all that the real user needs to see, right? If they're interested in buying a specific type of loot, right?
Yeah, it gives you a general idea of this, and what it affects is the supply. So, for example, there's a loot called Catalyst. Catalyst was only given out from leaderboard, so it's a wallet bound loot. So you won't see it in this list because it's not a deed bound loot. If you were to look at our site, versus Otherside Wiki and compare the supply of this list, there's a discrepancy because Frosty's approach is a little bit different than ours. He and I talked about this afternoon, so we know that there's already been questions and, people asking why are the supplies different on the two sites. For Otherdex, we're just strictly deed bound loot from chest. Frosty's is including some of the wallet bound loot.
Gotcha.
But overall, the numbers are, relatively the same.
I got a question from Justin, one of our favorites, and he was just saying, what was the hardest part, or what has been the hardest part of building Otherdex and the map in general?
The map.
The map's been the hardest part.
I mean, technically, right?
Yeah.
And another part of it was just building a foundation that can scale to support these features as it goes, right? Like we didn't know loot was going to be here now.
Right.
But because users, or I hope users, are familiar with how the Otherdex UI works, that if you click on one of those rows, it's going to open a sidebar. And in that sidebar, you can see the details. You can click any price and open an item window. In that item window, you can navigate between the different tabs to see the details, whether it's Legends of Mara or the traits or the map. The map, by the way, is interactive now. So Phil, if you click on one of the prices, like any of them, that 1.3 ETH on that cap of Hermes, the second one down,
right here,
almost like if you were shopping for this deed. So
yes,
if you open this up now,
it takes you straight to, that's awesome.
Well, yeah,
these
will always open, and you can click on Legends of Mara, the tab. We can go through the tabs really quick. Click on that. So these guys don't have a setup, but if they did,
dude, this is so dope.
Yeah, then you can
go to loot
too.
Yeah.
We know this has a cap of Hermes, but it also probably has a few others. So this is all the loot this deed has.
Okay.
And if you go to map,
no way, it's your deed, Nico.
It is Nick's map. There he goes. It's the floor. It's the floor on the cap of Hermes.
Yeah, I better move it now, boy.
This is that map embedded. So
hilarious.
You can, at the item level, at the NFT level, you can open this up and you could zoom out here to see where this actually is and all these type of things. And of course, you have delegation on the right, where if you were a player using delegation, you'd be able to see this. Nick actually is delegated to Otherdex. We play his codas on our Otherdex team, so he's part of the Otherdex team.
That is so funny.
So back to Justin's question, it's just starting at a place where we could end up here without changing the user experience over and over and over to accommodate. Just like we added all the partner collections, which is another thing we were. Another pro of things being slow, it's like, hey, we have some downtime. Let's add all the confirmed Otherside partners. So now you can browse Meebits, you can browse Bored Apes,
right?
All the Yuga Labs collections, all the other collections, and
it's awesome to include the partners on there.
This is my favorite place to browse Bored Ape Yacht Club.
For sure. We'll go there in just a second too. I had another question for you from the audience is what edge trends, interesting things have you noticed since spending lots of time looking at, listed other deeds? Is there anything that jumps out as you consistently see this information?
Not that I could really comment on, I spend so much time on Otherdex from a product perspective and not much as like a collector perspective. I do notice things, right? And I'll tweet about them either from my personal account or from the Otherdex account. Like if I see something, like if a mega was listed that was never listed before, or if there's an uptrend, like 2 weeks ago, we saw Mutants volume overtake Bored Ape volume, which we don't see often, but now we know that if there was some blur, dumping, farming and things like that going on with Mutants. So Mutant volume overtook. That was really easy to detect, looking at Otherdex every day. But what it's done for me really is expose me to a lot of the partners. I really want a wizard.
Yes, dude. Me too.
Aside from participating in their last thing. So having these here, it's just like, it's making me more familiar. It's exposing what would just be a regular Yuga Othersider to some of these other collections. So it's nice having them all in one place and not having to be on OpenSea searching and opening tabs. And it just aids in the discovery, right?
100%.
So as these partners, come in, the utility of them, starts to be revealed. We hope that, users appreciate that and are able to be like, hey, I can do this all in one place now.
I think it's dope too, just because again, like you said, if it's somebody brand new, even let's say they don't even know anything about Legends of Tomorrow, let's look a little further down the road,
Yeah.
and then they're looking for, oh my God, wait, there's partners that I can, and they know nothing. Well, they can come to Otherdex right now and look directly and be like, oh sweet, these are all the different partners. Oh, and all these are the Yuga. Maybe they know nothing about Yuga. I know that sounds crazy, but hopefully there's a day where that is the case, right? And we need to have these really great tools that are easy to use and visually appealing, because I love your site. I've said that from the very beginning, because I think everything just looks clean. It's easy to navigate. All that is true. So I love this. The partners in the Yuga Labs collection, I would agree that just like, yeah, dude, like looking at them here, that's clean, bro. Just looks freaking pretty, dude.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. And we added trait count. So if you go to the top there, you can go to the trait count. That's a cool one, because there's not a lot of marketplaces where you can do this now. And the easiest way to navigate this is like you go to trait count. Well, click on one of those. Click 4 or not, like one of the rows.
Oh, my bad.
All good.
34.
Yeah. So there's your 4 traits, and now you can just hit. I mean, you can look at all the listings there.
Right.
But you can hit browse up in the top corner now, and it will automatically filter into your browser, so you can just uninterrupted. So yeah, I think this is cool.
I like this, to be honest, because sometimes, when you're searching, and I'll just use Blur because I think Blur does a pretty good job of being able to quickly navigate, but sometimes it's so small and I'm like hovering over and then I'm clicking it too many times and it's like, God damn it, I just wanted to see what it looked like. I love this functionality here to just open browse, and it's now this is easy. Like, especially if you're at a desktop, whatever, even on your phone, it's easier to see the collections no matter what you're talking about. So I love that.
And you can always hit the little info button in the corner when you hover.
Yeah.
And then it will show you the traits. Those are clickable. So if you wanted to investigate Sleepy, you can click Sleepy, and that'll open the sidebar.
Wow,
you can just keep on.
Dude, it's fucking clean, dude.
On, which worked really well for other deeds. That's why we did it, right? Because looking at another deed, the text of the traits is so small down there that when you're in a card view, so creating this overlay with this interactive overlay where you can click on the different things and analyze these traits, that's where it started. And then we just it was just something that we're like, hey, this applies to all NFTs, right? Like
it's so easy. It's just like, it's dummy proof. That's why it's so great. And that's what we need. We actually need these tools that, again, think about it. If nobody has explored the collection, think about it. Even I don't do a lot of shopping, but if I did want to get deep in the weeds and say I'm looking for a very specific thing and I want to see obviously the listings and what's the price action band, all this, I can just jump on otherdex.io. I can dive as deep as I want to, or I can go surface level too. That's fine as well. And it's super easy to do. I love all of this. The functionality is great. Obviously the listings there. Oh, you can see top holders. I mean, all this is cool, dude. Like, this is very, very cool.
It's all there. You can search traits now too. Shout out to Nana for that feedback. When we released Bored Apes on Otherdex, he was like, I wish I could just search cheetah and see all the cheetahs. So now you can go into that search up there and just search cheetah. And
just here.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah. There you go. And just click cheetah.
That's dope.
That's sweet.
Pretty easy way to
that's super dope.
Easy way to do it. So yeah, for sure. And I can't forget our footer. I love our footer. You guys, you got to open the footer down there to see more.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Shout out to, when you showed us this, it feels like 78 years ago, looking at all of these, like, all of this is amazing, dude. We appreciate obviously being here and all these other awesome creatives that are doing dope things. And it actually ties into a beautiful question I had for you as well. And I think I know your answer, but what's it been like to, and I'll specifically stick with you, Otherpage, and Otherside Wiki, because you're all building these awesome tools for obviously us idiots that need some help, and the community in general. But like, I think sometimes when people are building tools, when people are creating things, it can be combative almost. Like, it can feel like some people have in my opinion, the wrong sentiment that, oh, you cannot succeed if I am going to succeed. And I think that's just flawed. But can you talk about, kind of building with and getting feedback? And you talked about that earlier today, where you and Frosties from Otherside Wiki are having this conversation about things that maybe you're doing differently, and that's okay too.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we're all working together at the end
Yeah.
of the day, right? And we all have the same goal, which is really just to strengthen the Otherside ecosystem. Some of our products have more overlap than others. You know, when we started Otherdex, it really wasn't our plan to become an aggregator. Our plan was to build the map. Like that's what we set out to do. But we realized pretty quickly we need to be an aggregator to get there, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're just a map. So, you know, we built that, and then everyone's got their strengths and weaknesses, but at the end of the day, we're all in touch with each other. I mean, communicate, you know, pretty regularly. We help each other solve problems, and we help each other with quality control, like what happened today.
Yeah.
When we released our loot, we were not adding. We were counting the number of deeds that a loot existed on rather than counting the number of actual loot. So if a deed had 2 of the same loot, it would only account for 1 in the sum of that loot, which is really isn't accurate, right? If you think about like resources on other deeds, it's like the same resource can exist more than once on a deed. Right. The supply there, you know. So Frosty, you know, and it was just kind of like a technical mishap when we're trying to like build so quick, it happens. But no, he reached out to me and said, "Hey, you're calculating these wrong." And I said, "You're right."
Yeah.
And we fixed it. So, you know, shout out to Sam. You know, he's our back-end dev and our CTO at Otherdex. He got on that pretty quick. He fixed it, but everyone's in touch. And, you know, but I think now you're going to start seeing us all go, especially us and Otherside Wiki, right? Like it's clear that we have the most overlap. You know, we have our direction we're going in. You know, they have theirs, but I think we'll continue to support each other. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's obvious. There's a lot of similarities, but there's also several differences, right? So.
Yeah, you know, it's just what the time and the place, and what do you want to look at? You know, if you want to go look at charts and analytics and things like that, maybe the Otherside Wiki is the better place to go right now. But maybe if you want to, you know, do something else, you go over to Otherdex.
Yeah. Find out who your neighbor is.
Find out who your neighbor is. Won't you be my freaking neighbor, baby? No, I think that's great. I think collaboration is really key. We talk about it a lot as content creators, because the same thing can happen. It can be like, well, you know, if do we really want to collaborate with this other content creator? I'm like, hell yeah, dude, let's bring them on. Let's fucking have a conversation. Like, what's it going to hurt? Like, to be fair, we're such a small space even now that like now is the time to continue to like help each other, you know, maybe potentially, you know, give feedback when it's necessary, etc. And then when things start to really rip, when we have Otherside and we're building all this shit out, people are going to find where they want to get their information from content creators, and it won't always be us. And people will find their tools that they find most useful, and it won't always be you either. It's like, that's what's beautiful, is like there's not one way to skin a freaking cat. There's many. So like, let's have all these options.
Listen, I use Otherside Wiki. I'm on it all the time.
Exactly.
You know, and I know, and you know, Frosty's, you know, he's on Otherdex. He lets me know. We give each other feedback, and you know, it's cool. There's nothing wrong with that.
No, absolutely not. And soon enough, y'all will both be just like, you'll be creating the tools for freaking Otherside, and everyone will just be, y'all will be fucking writing. I can just see it already. When Otherside. Now I'm gonna have to go into the freaking Discord and bitch about when's it coming out. I'm just kidding. I'm not gonna do that. Shout out to freaking PM. That guy is a fucking saint in that Discord. Sometimes I'll peek my head in, and good God, is he getting lambasted with questions of when. So Bryce, any other thoughts? Otherwise, I wanted to do a quick market look, and we're going to use Otherdex today to look at the market.
Let's jump right in. But yeah, love what y'all been building on Otherdex.
We do.
I use it
freaking. We
nice.
do love it. We do love it. So let's just take a look a little bit at the floor of some things here. Other deeds. Let's see. Oh, actually, want to go.
So actually, head over. I mean,
go ahead.
If you don't mind, just go to the homepage. So hit the little logo in the corner.
Oh yeah.
So I'd like to start here, but also if you want to get kind of a you know, bird's eye view of the entire Yuga system,
This is actually great. Yeah.
hitting the all button.
Yeah, hit all, not just Otherside.
If you hit all there, now you just got everyone in the whole ecosystem in one table,
including the partners too. For those that haven't seen this, you see the Wizards are here, World of Women, etc., are all right here.
I mean, the Yuga tab is exciting too, right? For us, because that's where we.
Of course.
Right?
Of course. And so if we just look at Yuga Labs, Bored Ape at just under 27, that's been, I feel like we're a stable coin almost at this point. It just feels like we're right around 27 all the time.
27.30. We've just been like,
literally. That's where we're at right now. Mutant Ape 5, Meebits 1. I feel like I've looked at these like not frequently actually. I feels like I must have looked at them yesterday because they haven't changed really that much at all. You see Bored Ape Kennel Club 1.4. That feels like it's been there for a while. G tags 1.9. I don't even remember the last time I looked at them. Rest in peace, Will on Board TV when he freaking ripped out like 9 of them Jokers live.
He swept like 10.
We got him fired up and fired away. Heavy metals at 0.2. Any thoughts? I know, God, it's been a couple weeks. Will was talking a bit about heavy metals, and it looks like, I don't know, like, what are our thoughts on heavy metals? Is that a play at 0.2? What are we thinking? Is it still too much of a speculation and guesswork?
I mean, there's definitely speculation and guesswork thrown in there. But at 0.2, I mean, I feel like that's a pretty safe bet, right? You know, you're going to be used in LOTM, and then it's also going to have, you know, their Evo 3 and everything coming up this year. So they seem like a pretty good play.
Yeah.
But more so, like, if you actually want to play, like, I don't know about flipping them. I don't know if it's like, oh, if you sweep 100 heavy metals, like, you'll be good to go.
You don't want to sweep 100 heavy metals?
I mean, I would love to.
Yeah, I think the Legends of Mara partner utility is really what's going to move, like, you know, what's going to make some of these move next. So in that context, it's like, okay, let's say you have half an ETH, right? Do you want to, and you already own heavy metals. I would probably rather get one of these guys. You know, like Rangas look nice at 0.2. If you own heavy metals and you don't own a Ranga, where are you going to put your 0.2? I almost like the idea of Ranga just to be in something new, right? Unless you're excited about playing heavy metal later, right? Cryptodes, of course, like I'd love to own one, but
yeah, they kind of had a push up there a little while ago, but it feels like they've come back down a little bit. But another thing is, obviously, when you're looking at heavies, Bryson, I don't know if you've looked at them recently. You have to be careful that they've been played though, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, pretty much all the floors not been played. So I don't know if that's going to be similar to the sewer pass where they'll be burned and be completely worthless, or if they'll just kind of not really be LOTM eligible, but they can do Evo 3 still. Like, I don't know what route Yuga's taken there.
Mm-hmm. No, for sure. For sure. I do love the idea of looking at these partners. The only thing that I would say, and we talked about this a little bit a couple weeks ago, is still trying to understand, and obviously there's speculation and everything, but trying to guess at what does a partner mean? You know, is this just an extra spot that you get a slight percentage boost on hunting or farming, or is it a damage thing? You know, when we start to be able to take damage, maybe that's almost like a shield. If you have one of these partner collections, does it give you a 10% boost on your shield? Who knows?
Yeah, maybe you can just get extra loot from having a partner.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah. And are they all created equally, right? Like, think about that. What if they come out and they're like, hey, whether you own a World of Women or a Mega Force Sentinel, it provides the same utility.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting because there is quite a gap, you know, between some of these. So that'll be interesting to see. But then you also can't say like, hey, I don't expect them to be like, hey, the utility is dependent on its current floor price, right? Like, you can't do that. So
you see the floors just
you have to lean the other way,
like flipping Kodas, and all of a sudden they're like way better than everything else.
Yeah.
No, that would be hilarious. They just all run up and they're all just super powerful. So yeah, I would assume that they're all going to be the same. I am curious, you know, Bryce, I like that take. What if it is something tied with maybe you have a better chance of pulling the loot from that specific partner collection? Maybe that's what it is. It's maybe it's significant. Maybe it's a 50% boost of getting right.
For the people that actually own those NFTs and, you know, like that ecosystem, they can acquire better, you know, their actual rewards there.
Yeah.
But some of the partners are already going to be like the partner loot's already going to be right? Like they're kind of going through cycles.
Yeah.
So, like there's a lot of Forgotten Ruins loot. I think they have the most, right? Like,
Yeah.
There's a ton.
so that's interesting. I like Forgotten Ruins just because of their the game that they just had.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't get into it, but I saw some thread
It was
write-ups,
dope.
and I was like,
It was dope.
I kind of like what they're doing over there.
It was dope. And I love, my wife owns a World of Women, so I got a little bit of
That's what's up.
exposure there. I love the Ranga artwork.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to own, something of everything here.
When next ApeCoin airdrop so we can all buy more pieces of the partner collection? No, I'm also in the boat of super bullish on the Wizards just because their team is incredibly talented and dope, and the game, their Halloween thing was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Everything that they've done, even that game that they played where beating the shit out of some insects and things, like I played that a bit.
So
all of it was dope, and it's like, dude, this is just the beginning of what they're doing, and their team is fire. So I 100% have been on the search for a Wizard. I just got to find some more ETH in my couch cushions, I think, to make that happen. So again, screw when Otherside. We know that's going to be at least another year. I'm kidding. Hopefully it's sooner than, I don't know. But when next ApeCoin airdrop? Can we just take the DAO? Let's disperse it to all of us so we can buy more NFTs. That's what I'm about. Let's freaking go.
That could be an AIP, right?
Yeah, let's write it tonight. I'm writing that.
Shut it down.
Shut it down and disperse the ApeCoin. Let's freaking go.
Let's write an AIP to just push ApeCoin back to $20.
Yeah, that's got to be possible,
that's
right?
What we should do.
Just burn the shit out of it until it gets there. Just get rid of like all of it. It's a coin of the circulation gets cut in half. No, I just want to say, Adam, shout out to Otherdex, Sam, the whole team over there. Y'all are killing it. We definitely love Otherdex. We love Otherside Week. We love Other Page. But I want to say appreciate you, Adam, because Halos stay together as well. Adam and I have been in a Halo chat for freaking ever. And so when this was first something that, he was working on with the team, he definitely, asked me for some opinion and just some simple things at the beginning. And I just want to say, like, you guys are killing it. We definitely love exploring Otherdex and all these tools, and just shout out to those people creating content, creating tools, taking time out of your day to make the future of Otherside and the future of Yuga Labs ecosystem better. Like, shout out to you, because you're super underrated. And I truly do believe Yuga Labs does see and hear what everyone's doing. I really do believe that, truly. And I think there'll be exciting things to come as we move forward. So as we wrap, any last minute sentiment, Mr. Adam? I'll throw it to you first, since you were the very special guest this evening.
Yeah, man. No, I really appreciate it. And back at you guys, really appreciate what you do. I think it takes a lot of different moving pieces just to keep this community driven part of the ecosystem going. Like, imagine a world where none of us were here and it was just all NFT holders waiting to hear from founders.
Right.
Which happens, we see it in a lot of other communities, most others, right? So we're happy to be here, and be patient with Yuga, on all fronts. I would say just try your best. There's a lot of other things going on in this space, and we just keep learning, keep growing. I like that tweet Phil did last week about, what is it to be a Bored Ape, or something along those lines, and reading through that, it just kind of, reminds me like why we're here. And, that's about it, man. Really appreciate you guys. Can't wait to do it again.
Hell yeah, Adam. You always have a pass to come on to Board TV and drop some sick knowledge and take us through Otherdex anytime you want. Mr. Bryce, I'm going to throw it to you, and then we'll wrap the show.
Yeah, 2024 definitely seems like, there's a lot coming down the pipe from Yuga and hopefully just the overall economy.
Shout out to economy.
But I'm like, things could get extremely exciting in the next week, 2 weeks, month, right?
Agreed.
Let's say the ETF gets approved, whether that's you mid-curve it or not, it should just overall increase sentiment. And then, we'll have Magic Eden and their rewards, plus Season 1 rewards, plus the mobile game, plus hopefully more Otherside activations, another Ape Fest. So I'm excited for 2024. I think it'll be a good one.
Yeah, and I'll just put a bow on it. Again, 2023, they still did a ton of shit. And I get the very strong feeling that they're going to be way more shit in 2024. Like, I get the very strong feeling, especially with like Gordon coming out and saying, you know, we know that we're going to do XYZ better and 2024 is going to be a movie. Like, you know, turn me all the fucking way up, because 2023 was pretty freaking fun, even though, you know, there was bumps along the way. And by the way, they did all that in a fucking bear. So now let's just flip the script. Like Bryce said, if things start to, and things are already starting to feel better, let's take it times another 5x that, where we're just feeling really fucking good. We're vibing on the timeline. Yo, come on. You're telling me that Yuga's not going to absolutely slay this shit? Come on now. Don't get it twisted. I cannot wait for 2024. Yo, again, it's been dope. If you came through, we appreciate you. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Twitch. If you're watching us on Instagram, obviously follow us. If you're watching us on X, we appreciate you. Thank you for coming through. We appreciate the comments. We appreciate the likes, the retweets, whatever you can do, because retweets are free, believe it or not, and they definitely do help us that are building things, whether that be tools or content creation or just telling jokes on the timeline. It all matters. Shout out to all the builders. Shout out to the content creators. We love you. We appreciate you. This was Adam, Bryce, and Phil. Board TV. Stay bored.
Peace.
That money clip us now, the new now looks like. Whoa, upgrade her diamonds, now her girlfriends are like. Whoa, I hit record a drop, you can't ignore it. I'm transforming now these cars and planes, I'm always boarding. Just out touring down in Charlotte like I play for Hornets. When I'm performing, never boring, now you can't afford it. Champagne Perrier, Finnish friends on my face.